Yes, you're good.
Okay, cool. All right. Hey, everyone. So welcome to Clear Vision Wednesday. I am Trisha Kirby. I am guest hosting this episode of Clear Vision Wednesday for vision improvement expert Claudia Mühlenweg, who's out of town. I work on Claudia's team as an intuitive vision coach, working with mindset and emotions that help heal and lead to better vision holistically. So for the month of February, we're spotlighting several outstanding holistic and integrative expert eye doctors to speak about AMD, age-related macular degeneration. And we've had a couple before now, and we'll have a couple after now. And today we are guest hosting Dr. Edward Kondrot. I want to say he's the world's leading homeopathic ophthalmologist, but more importantly and personal to me, he is a doctor that I met in 2006, not long after I had been in a car accident. I'd been hit by a drunk driver and I had a head injury. And with that head injury, I realized that I couldn't read anymore, even though I have been a voracious reader of books my whole life. All of a sudden, I could only read like one line at a time and I wouldn't comprehend it. And my reading comprehension went to nothing. And it was just, I had a really, really hard time. So I went to, by just coincidence, because I'm interested in art and color, I went to a conference that I thought was going to be about color, and it ended up being about color and light. And it was a conference with eye doctors. And it was there that I met Dr. Edward Kondrot. I met Dr. Ray Gottlieb. I met Dr. Betsy Hancock. I was really, really blessed and fortunate to make contact with all these individuals because they gave me the instructions with color and light to help me regain my ability to understand and comprehend when I was reading again. They literally helped my eyes heal. And it was such a dramatic improvement for me. So I have been so grateful. And even though I still had issues with undiagnosed Lyme disease that I didn't know about until about another decade later, I still had the start there. So it gives me incredible, great pleasure to bring Dr. Kondrot on stage. Okay, and he's going to be talking about the forefront future of eye care, where we really could go if we were living in an ideal world where holistic practices were the mainstay instead of surgery or drugs or shots or all these other things. And yes, an integrative approach is wonderful, but we want people to get better with every tool that they can possibly use. So, Dr. Kondrot, I would like you to tell us a little bit about yourself, and I'm going to give you the stage and welcome. I'm so happy to see you. I can't even tell you. All right, I'm going to let you talk.
Okay, well, it's certainly a pleasure to be here on Clear Vision. Oh, I'm not on anymore.
I know, it's me.
It's certainly a pleasure to be here on Clear Vision, and it's great. I think you lost me again.
Nope, you're on there.
Am I still on?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And
thanks so much, Trish and Katrina, for inviting me, and also for that flattering introduction. I think I'm the world's most famous homeopathic ophthalmologist because I'm the only one. There are some optometrists, I'm pleased to say, that are learning homeopathy, so I'm not alone. But I started out as a traditional board-certified ophthalmologist doing a lot of surgery and being the kind of eye doctor that most of you don't like to go to. They don't listen to you. They don't understand your vision problems. But I had a major health crisis. I developed severe asthma. And I was on 3 toxic medications. And some of the medications caused a side effect, which is a tremor. Can't be a good eye surgeon if you have a tremor. And I wasn't happy. I was looking for a cure. And traditional medicine just maintains your disease. If you have high blood pressure, go to the doctor and he goes, okay, let's work on curing it. Take this medicine. Doc, how long do I have to take it? The rest of your life. So I was taking these 3 toxic medications and I thought, well, maybe homeopathy would help me. So if there was going to be a placebo effect, that first remedy should have helped me because I was optimistic that it would help me. Didn't do a thing. Second remedy may have helped, but the third remedy was like somebody hit a light switch. The asthma was gone. And I said, I got to research this stuff. It's really powerful. And then I found out that many ophthalmologists in the late 1800s practice homeopathy along with ophthalmology. So I couldn't wait to really get involved with studying homeopathy. And that's the main basis of my practice, because I think homeopathy is one of the only specialties or only modalities that we actually try to attempt to cure a disease. We're not maintaining it. We try to cure it. And I see this with many of my eye patients. We're attempting to cure the problem, get your health back. So I don't know how to proceed. Trish mentioned that I should give just a brief presentation, but if there's a lot of questions out there, I'd much rather just answer questions. So Trish just told me to, go back to answering questions. So I'm going to do a screen share. And we practiced this before, so hopefully I'm not going to make a fool out of myself. All right, so this is play. All right. So this is the 10 essentials to save your sight. And this is kind of an accumulation of lectures that I would give to patients in my practice. And you can get a free copy of my book, which is essentially everything I'm going to talk about. And it's free to you. It's my gift. Just go to kondrotbook.com and you can download the book. Number one, I think the most important thing is diet. I know most of you are probably tired of hearing about diet, but I really believe that 70% of your diet should be organic, raw living. And I'm probably speaking to the choir here. You want to be eating food that is not toxic, doesn't have preservatives, and eliminating genetically modified food. One of the biggest complaints I get from patients, I'll eat organic, but it's too expensive. Well, there was a study done, organic versus non-organic, and they were looking at nutrients. And actually, organic food has 5 to 10-fold more nutrition than non-organic, and 5 to 10 less in terms of toxic heavy metals. Now, something interesting, when I was looking at the early homeopathic ophthalmology literature, 1850s, early 1900s, did you know that macular degeneration did not exist before 1920? Yes, it did not exist. I used to think that macular degeneration was more common now because of all the toxins and pollution. But hey, back in the 1800s and early 1900s, there was a lot more pollution. I grew up in Pittsburgh, and early in the morning, I actually get a broom and sweep the windshield of my car. There was so much soot and dirt. So it's not the pollution that's causing an increased incidence of macular degeneration and other eye disease. It's our diet. In 1915, margarine was introduced and Crisco, and these are made from seed oils. There are some researchers that feel that seed oils are the culprit. We have to avoid seed oils. Corn oil, canola oil, grapeseed oil, even olive oil, all avocado oil. You need to avoid oils. They're causing harm to our body. That came to a shock to me. I can remember my grandfather, he lived to 98, perfect vision. He used to actually drink bacon grease. My mother would fry bacon and he would say, no, don't throw it away. I'll drink it. He used to drink it. So our ancestors used lard and butter, and they're the oils we should use. And that may come to a shock to a lot of people, but the research is showing that the seed oils are causing a lot of problem. I don't have to talk about genetically modified food. A great book by Jeffrey Smith, Seeds of Deception. I think the genetically modified food is really destroying our society. Also, high fructose corn syrup. It's almost impossible to stay away from it. It is in everything. Salad dressings, condiments, all the juices and drinks that have the high fructose corn syrup. You got to stay away. Why do you want to stay away? Well, it's made from genetically modified corn. And also, there's also problems with the fructose. It actually stimulates shunning more towards fat metabolism, not fat metabolism, fat storage. That's why there's a lot of obesity now, because of the high fructose corn syrup. Fish oils are a problem too. I heard Professor Peskin speak at a meeting, And I actually walked out of the meeting. I thought this guy was nuts when he said you should avoid fish oils, because I was taught fish oils are good. The problem with fish oils, there's a couple of reasons. As we know, the sea's contaminated. Fish oils have high levels of mercury. Fish oils also become rancid at room temperature. If you're taking fish oils, you're probably taking rancid oils. And my good friend, Dr. Robert Rowan, did some research on this. And he said, Professor Peskin is right on this fish oil business. You need omega oils, but they should be plant-based oils. So this is why you should avoid fish oils. Longer chain fatty acids, which are not absorbed by the cell, mercury, that are rancid at room temperature. Zinc deficiency is a big problem. 80% of people that I see are deficient in zinc. And part of this reason is that our soils become depleted, our poor diet. And so many studies have been done to show that zinc deficiency is linked to macular degeneration. And I have found patients that are zinc deficient, even if they're taking zinc as a supplement. It's hard to believe. One of the reasons is if you have heavy metals in your body, and I'll talk about that later, heavy metals are big bullies, they're big molecules, and they push out the zinc, magnesium, chromium, the good guys, the little molecules that are good, these bullies like lead and mercury. So sometimes you have to eliminate the lead and mercury to get the zinc levels. All right. Oh, I think I'm going the wrong way now here. All right, second thing. And the first three things I'm talking about are the most important. And I tell people, you do these three things, you're not going to need a doctor. Proper hydration. Dr. Batman Geldy wrote a book, Our Body's Many Cries for Water, and he feels that properly hydrated body, you'll get rid of most of your chronic disease, but we're walking around in a dehydrated state. And I recommend you should be drinking half your body weight in ounces of water. That's a good rule of thumb. Of course, where can we find a good source of water? We know that the public water is contaminated. Pharmaceuticals are found in water. I think New York did a study, and they looked at the water samples, and they found out that there was estrogens, all sorts of antibiotics found in their water, because, if you're taking all these petrochemicals and you urinate, it goes into the water supply. Also, you have to be careful with plastic bottles. So many of us are drinking out of plastic bottles, but they're finding out that the phthalates and benzene derivatives of plastics are contaminating us. So reverse osmosis or a water distiller. And on the right, I love my water distiller. I take it with me, and I'm always drinking from the water distiller. But people always say, Dr. Kondrot, aren't you going to be losing all the essential minerals? You're correct. So I do think that's another reason why you need to eat organic. And I also recommend maybe get a pinch of Himalayan sea salt. You can put it in your water to get your minerals back. All right, number one, food. Number two, hydration. Number three, balance the autonomic nervous system. Most of us are living in a fight or flight. That when we're in that fight or flight, we're in the sympathetic state. And when you're in the sympathetic state, certain physiological things take place. Your pupils dilate, your digestive process is slow, and also your healing ability slows. So you can have a good diet, you can be well hydrated, but if you're in that sympathetic state, your body will not heal. So that is critical. So reducing stress, physical exercise, good. Meditation, prayer, positive affirmations. Microcurrent can help reduce stress, and light therapy is wonderful reducing stress. And that could be one of the most important treatments that you do, reducing the stress. We live in a very stressful world right now. There's so many problems going on. I mean, it's almost hard to avoid the stress and the toxicity that's going on in the world right now. Exercise. A lot of my patients are elderly. And those of you that are living in the northern climates and there's snow on the ground, you can't get outside, well, I like the trampoline or rebounder or dance. That's one way of doing it. Sleep and light therapy. Something really interesting that I discovered, there's so much negativity about ultraviolet light. Is it a friend or a foe? We're taught to avoid ultraviolet light, but actually, one of the biggest health crises that we face now is the deficiency in vitamin D. Professor Abraham Hayam did a study. He looked at areas that have a lot of light at night. This is a map of the United States. You see, New York, Tampa, the major cities. The light never goes away at night. He found that people that get excessive amounts of light at night have an increased incidence of cancer, increased incidence of diabetes, and an increased incidence of eye problems, including macular degeneration. So what he did research to find out what wavelength of light, what color light caused this problem. And he did an animal study to confirm this. Painstakingly studied the effect of light. Then he took each different spectrum of light, yellow light, blue light, green light, purple light, to find out what wavelength. And it was blue light. That's the problem. We need blue light during the day. That's why God made the sky blue and the ocean blue. But at night, we have to avoid blue light. And unfortunately, our government is pushing the compact fluorescent lights on us, which give off a blue spectrum. They're horrible. We need the old-fashioned incandescent light. Now, I have an iPhone, and some of you may have it on your computer screen. They have a night shift that the engineers have an ability to shift your screen color to the red spectrum. You want to have the red spectrum at night. Remember, during the day, you have the blue light, the sunshine, the blue sky. As the sun sets, it turns to the red spectrum. So getting a good night's sleep is important. And there was a study done where they looked at people with macular degeneration and just simply getting them a good night's sleep, maybe taking melatonin and avoiding any unnatural light. Even the illumination of your alarm clock at night can suppress the pineal. So the goal is you want to sleep in a totally dark room. So I think ultraviolet is our friend. It's needed for health. There was a study done at Wills Eye Hospital that showed that the rabbit retinal pigment epithelium will not regenerate without low levels of ultraviolet light. So actually, not having ultraviolet light may lead to causing macular degeneration, but we're all taught that you have to avoid ultraviolet light because it's causing macular degeneration. We need ultraviolet light. There was a study done, and I don't want to talk about this study because it was horrible. They took a group of monkeys who had cataract surgery. In other words, the lens was removed. Then they had dilating drops put in, make their pupils real big. They had lid speculum placed in, and their heads were strapped. Then it had a 16-minute exposure to a 10,000-watt xenon light. And let me back up here. They said, oh, it caused retinal damage. Well, my goodness, that amount of wattage would cause retinal damage no matter what. But this was a study that stated that ultraviolet light was bad for the eye. It was a garbage study. Vision therapy. I think it's really important that we look at ways to exercise our eyes and improve our vision and acuity. And of course, your group, you're the authorities on this type of treatment. And I love Dr. Bates. And when I was in medical school and my ophthalmology training, we made fun of Dr. Bates. What a nutcase. And I thought he was too, until I read the book by Aldous Huxley, The Art of Seeing. And if you haven't read that book, it's a great book. Huxley had horrible eyesight. He was going blind and went from clinic to clinic. No one could help him. And he found out about the Bates method, and he restored his vision using the Bates method. So palming is great. I love palming. I always say that palming is a poor man's microcurrent because, our body's energetic. So when you're palming, you're putting your own body's energy into your eyes. Also, it's a form of meditation, which is great. Sunning, and sunning is wonderful, and you want to do it at the setting sun or the rising sun because you're getting the red infrared light. And of course, you want to do it with your closed eyes. Don't open up your eyes. You might cause some damage. There's 3 articles that show that Dr. Bates was right. Looking at light exposure to the retina in terms of regeneration. So it's well known now that low-level laser therapy can improve retinal function and help regeneration. Now, we've all heard that we need electrons. We need an alkaline pH, right? If you're usually in a disease state, you're acidic, so you want more electrons. So an acid pH is a deficiency in electrons in any disease. So we want to get electrons into our body. So these are therapies that we can put electrons into your body. Microcurrent, which I'll talk about, oxidative therapies using ozone, which is a highly charged oxygen molecule, acupuncture, ultraviolet blood irradiation, and light therapies. This is a great book by Stephen Sinatra, Earthing. And I was at a major meeting where he gave a talk on earthing. And there was probably about 1,000 doctors at the meeting. And he said this was the most important discovery of his life, earthing. And he actually gave every doctor at that meeting a copy of the book. And if you haven't read the book, well, first of all, read my book, The 10 Essentials, then read this book, okay? But grounding ourselves, we live in a society, we are not grounded to the earth. We need to be grounded to the earth. In the 1940s, during the war, they eliminated rubber. Rubber is a conductor, or not rubber, leather. Leather shoes are a conductor. Not everybody's wearing rubber tennis shoes, so we're not grounded to the earth. Let me just back up here. So that's why you feel so wonderful walking on a beach, because your feet are in the sand and the salt water, you're grounded to the earth. We need that frequency to vibrate in our body. And in his book, Dr. Sinatra talked about case after case of people with chronic problems who were just cured and reversed just by earthing. We need to be grounded to the earth. This is another device that I like. It's called the Delta Laser. It's a type of light therapy, and it combines a magnetic field, infrared light, syntonic light, and ultrasound. So it's a great device as a treatment tool, not only for your eyes, but musculoskeletal problems. And this is the therapies that I do right on your eye, on the neck, because it helps improve blood flow to your eye, and also on your long bone or your sternum, because it can improve stem cell activity. But this is my favorite, syntonic light, because I like to empower people. And syntonic light therapy is something you can do at home. After I consult with a patient, I find out what light therapy they need. And we have specialized glasses, and they get a gooseneck lamp, and they can do the light therapy on their own. It's just a wonderful way of balancing the autonomic nervous system, which is key. It also helps rejuvenate the retina. Studies have shown that light therapy can lower the intraocular pressure in glaucoma, on and on and on. I could probably talk all day on light therapy. Now we're getting to my love and passion, homeopathy. So the question I have for you, who was the first homeopath? Trisha, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Samuel
Everybody
Hahnemann?
will say Hahnemann.
But probably not. Probably someone earlier.
It
Oh,
was Moses. Exodus 23:20. And he took the calf which they had made and burnt it, ground it to powder, stewed it upon the water, and made the children of Israel drink it. And that's how we make our homeopathic remedies. We grind it, we put it in powder, put it in water, and we make you drink it. And Moses, not only did he prepare the remedy properly, he had the right selection, because the calf was made of gold, and gold is used for depression and despair. So it's mentioned in the Bible. Now, Samuel Hahnemann was actually developed the whole processes. It's based on the law of similars, which is interesting. And I think this is the most important law, because if you believe our body has intelligence, we're told that we're made in the likeness of God. Our body has an intelligence. So when we do get a disease or a problem, it's because we need it. Our body has an intelligence, and it needs to be in harmony. So if I get a fever, it's because I probably need it. Maybe I have an infection. If I get diarrhea, it's probably because I need it. Maybe I have some toxins in my body. Now, Traditional medicine feels that the body has no intelligence. So if you have a fever, they give you something to lower the temperature. If you have diarrhea, they give you something that causes constipation. If you have wet macular, they make it dry. If you have dry macular, they make it wet. If you have high eye pressure, they lower it. Homeopathy believes that if your body has a wisdom, let's help it. So if you have diarrhea, you'll take a homeopathic remedy which causes diarrhea. And you may be saying, Dr. Kondrot, you're nuts. If I have diarrhea, I'm not going to take something that causes diarrhea. But it works. It's stimulating your body to do what it wants to do. So when I had my bad asthma and I was cured, I took a homeopathic remedy that actually caused asthma. Didn't make my asthma worse, it cured it. But it's not that far-fetched. Let's say you're allergic to ragweed and you go to the doctor. He gives you injections of ragweed. You go, Doc, hey, don't give me that stuff. I'm allergic to it. But it's a way of helping your body react and heal itself. Okay, so a bumblebee, you get bit by a bee, you're going to have burning and a lot of swelling. So if somebody comes in with an eye problem with burning and a lot of swelling, we'll consider homeopathic bumblebee or homeopathic apis. An onion causes watering and tearing, and it's also a homeopathic remedy. The rattlesnake, you get bit by a rattlesnake, causes a hemorrhage, and that's one of our homeopathic remedies that we use to treat a hemorrhage. The other thing I like about homeopathy, we treat the person. We just don't treat your eye problem. So if I have 100 people that come to me with macular degeneration, each one will need a different remedy because we treat the individual. So I don't want anybody, when we open it up for questions, to say, what is a good remedy for macular degeneration? I can't answer that. It's like, what is a good remedy for you? I have to find out your nature, your temperament, all about you, because we're treating you. And if we make you healthy, your macular degeneration will go away. And we're looking at your mental and emotional state. I believe there's a strong connection with any disease and the emotional state. Microcurrent is another passion of mine. And believe it or not, I got interested in microcurrent through the great golfer Sam Snead. And this was taken, I don't know how long ago, but there's me with Sam Snead. I treated him for a week and he gave me golf lessons. And it's funny because everybody wants to know, what did he tell you, Dr. Kondrot, on the golf course? Well, he looked at me, hit a couple bucket of balls, and he finally came up, put his arm around me. He says, Dr. Kondrot, here's what I want you to do. I want you to cut back for a year, then just give up the game. So I did listen to him. I stopped golfing for 20 years, but now my wife likes to golf, so I'm back at golfing. I didn't listen to Sam. Now, I believe in synchronicity. This is the New York Times Magazine. On May the 25th, they did a special issue. And May the 25th is my birthday, so I thought that synchronistic. The whole thing was about the body electric, the wonders of microcurrent. Microcurrent improves blood flow, stimulates cellular activity, removes scar tissue, reduces inflammation, has a neuroprotective effect. Now, wow, all these things will certainly help any type of eye problem, right? And there's many studies done to show that microcurrent does all these things. Lance Armstrong on the left, his cycling team routinely used microcurrent after the races. And you see the two athletes on the right, that's myself and my wife. We ran the Marine Corps Marathon, 26.2 miles. And I was never so sore after that race. And a 30-minute microcurrent treatment completely took away all my pain. Now, my son ran the race, and he's in his 20s, and it took him about a week to recover, without the microcurrent. So initially, we had a device like this, which stimulated different acupuncture points, and we would dial in different frequencies. And now we're using a specific frequency to match the frequency of your tissue, kind of like a tuning fork. You have two C-sharp tuning forks, they vibrate together. So we want to send a frequency in to match your retina, your optic nerve, a different part of your eye. So there's harmony and resonance to help the healing process. And this is the device we use, the Inspir Star. and this is how we treat the eye. We also do body treatment, stress and detox, which are wonderful. And there's many, many studies done to show that microcurrent works. And years ago, I had the opportunity to do some research in Italy. Well, we didn't actually do the research. We just talked about it. We were going to look at using microcurrent on nuclear transfer in the mitochondria. But one thing I found about the Italians, they like to eat, they like to have meetings, but no work was ever done. So we never did the research, but I had many meetings, many dinners, and met a lot of wonderful people at the University of Rome. Specialized therapies are chelation and oxidative treatments. This is a big problem, heavy metal toxicity. And as I mentioned earlier, when you have heavy metals, that is going to decrease your ability to maintain an adequate level of zinc. So this patient here had elevated lead. So they're a contributing factor in all eye disease. You should have a 6-hour urine test, a challenge test. What do I mean by a challenge? Well, I could check, you could be dying of lead poisoning. If I check your lead in your blood or urine, nothing's going to be there because lead goes into your bone, your brain, your fat tissue. So you need a challenge test. And one way to treat the heavy metals is chelation. And these are oxidative treatments using highly reactive oxygen. And I'm just going to go through this. All right, so we can open it up to questions.
Great. Hang on one second. Let me add a spot right here. All right. Well, let me ask you, I want to ask you a couple questions first too. Can you talk for a minute about what your Restore Vision program encompasses, what you do in that? I mean, you don't have to give details, but like for people who
Well,
might
my
be interested.
goal, before we used to have a program where patients would come to my practice for a week. They would stay a week. We actually had room and board. They would stay a week. We would do IV therapies, lecture every day. And it was a major program. And this was in Florida. And people came from all over the world, and we were restoring lost vision. Then COVID hit. And, what am I going to do? It was horrible. So we developed an online program. And actually, the online program has been just as successful. So you don't have to travel to Florida for a week. We do everything online. I do, personal interviews with you. We review your eye records. We talk about the therapies. And so it's been really a benefit for patients because now they save money on traveling. They're saving money on the program. It's just a fraction of the cost of the initial program. And I use the big modalities are homeopathy, microcurrent, light therapy. We have customized treatments for each patient. And not only do we have the customized treatments, but I believe in keeping in close contact with the patients. So we have meetings twice a month where I meet with all the patients and they ask questions, find out, what issues they're having. And, we love it when, people have a great improvement of their vision. Or after their homeopathic treatment, they say, Dr. Kondrot, I don't know what you gave me, but I've never felt so good about myself. Imagine that. So that is something, and if you are interested in that program, just go to kondrotprogram.com, my last name program.com, and also download my book, kondrotbook.com. That's a good way to get started. And as I mentioned, I do free evaluations. So if you would send me your eye records, I'll tell you what I think you need to do, what therapies I think would benefit you, or what vitamins or what nutrition. And there's no charge for that. And you can get to that by going to freeconsult.us.
All right, thank you. Okay, someone on one of our YouTube live stream listeners is asking, what can they do to halt dry macular degeneration? Like, is there like a couple of early tips? I know you gave a whole bunch just now.
Oh, I'll tell you what, the most important thing, remember, macular degeneration did not exist before 1920. Why? Diet.
Okay.
Three most important things: diet, diet, diet. Avoid seed oils. If it has a label, don't put it into your body. You want to eat organic, natural food, proper hydration, and reduce stress. Three most important things. Food is the best medicine. You are what you eat, on and on. Proper hydration. Those are the three most important things. Now, of course, it depends on the stage of macular degeneration. That's why I like homeopathy, microcurrent, oxidative treatments. These are treatments that can actually reverse macular degeneration. But, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Unfortunately, people wait too late, and they develop bad dietary habits, and it's really hard to reverse it at that point.
Who's your ideal client? Who are the people that you see having success?
Well, I do not see people that are happy with their eye doctors. The person that's getting injections every day or having surgery. I see the person who is not happy with the care they're receiving. They're losing their vision. They're listening to their eye doctor, they're losing their vision. They want to do something more proactive to help improve their eyesight.
Okay, so a natural proactiveness.
Natural approach.
Yeah. Okay.
Because, if you're happy with your eye doctor and you're taking your eye drops, there's a certain group of people that embrace Western medicine. These are the people that couldn't wait to get the next booster shot. I'm not going to see them. I have relatives in my family. They brag to each other. Did you get the latest booster shot? Yeah, I got it already. I'm waiting for my doctor to give it to me. Those are the people that don't really are looking for alternative solutions.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, another question from YouTube listener. Linseed oil? I think they might mean castor oil. Castor oil, I heard it corrects cataracts. I guess they're just wondering, like, if you had heard that.
Well, I did get a copy of all of Edgar Casey's tapes. See, Edgar Casey was really big with castor oil.
Yeah.
Not once did he mention in his tapes, and I have all his readings and I went through it, he didn't mention once castor oil eye packs on the eye. Not once. Castor oil eye packs on your abdomen or different parts of your body might be beneficial, but I do not recommend castor oil drops in the eye or packs in the eye. I think it was a misconception about that.
Interesting. Okay. Several people asked about double vision. Anything that helps double vision?
Well, it's double vision depends on the cause.
Right.
Is it double vision in one eye? Is it double vision when you're opening both eyes? Is it double vision when you look in a certain direction? Is it double vision without your glasses? So that requires an evaluation. And see, one thing that I'm, a board certified ophthalmologist, I know eye pathology. I know how to evaluate the eye. So my first goal would be to try to find out what's causing the double vision and then work on a solution. It could be a weakness of one of your muscles. And then the approach would be try to strengthen that muscle, either maybe with light therapy, with homeopathic remedy, with microcurrent, or maybe just simple eye exercises.
Someone was asking what kind of water filter? You said I guess the brand maybe of the one that your travel one, or do you have a separate travel one from your home one?
Actually, we have one at our home and one to our travel. It's just a simple distiller. You can go to Amazon.com. They're all pretty much the same. In fact, I just picked the cheapest one. But it works. It distills the water. All it is something that heats the water, and the water vapors come up and drop. So you don't need anything really expensive or elaborate. It's kind of simple. But that's one of the best ways to get a good, pure source of drinking water.
Actually, I'm going to add a question to that too. Your opinion on heavy water, like making the water into a gel, like Gerald Pollack's work when he talks about the fourth phase of water, better for absorption, or is that even a thing?
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay.
I'm kind of against, I think I'm more natural.
Yeah.
God gave us water a certain way. When we start to manipulate things, it turns into like big pharma. Here's one thing that every year you hear about a miracle cure. one year it was goji berry, one year it was mangosteen, one year it was aloe vera juice, right? It's
Yep,
going to
yep,
cure everything.
yep.
And these network marketing people or testimonials, well, there was a major study looking at all these exotic juices, comparing it to apple juice. And guess what came up on top as far superior, having more nutrition, trace minerals, etc.? It was apple juice.
Wow.
But apple juice, it's not exotic. It's boring, right?
It's funny. All right. Do you feel cataracts are curable?
Definitely. And once again, cataracts are linked to nutrition.
Huh.
Definitely. Right now I'm doing a lot of mission eye surgery in foreign countries. I just got back from Angola. I was there for 2 weeks. And it's shocking. You see young people, teenagers, with advanced cataracts. And these are not the cataracts that we see in the US. In the US, somebody has a little blurred vision and they get cataract surgery. In Africa, they are blind. I mean, their cataract is like solid white. They can barely see light. And you can't talk to them about diet, nutrition. I mean, they're lucky to get a meal a day. So here in the US, I think you really have to focus on nutrition. And vitamin C is key. Dr. Levy, who's a medical doctor and an attorney, wrote a book on vitamin C. And he talks about focal scurvy. Scurvy is when you have a complete deficiency of vitamin C. Focal scurvy is when you're taking enough vitamin C to prevent scurvy, but you have other problems. And he feels that cataracts, macular degeneration, heart disease, periodontal disease are due to focal scurvy. And humans and guinea pigs are the only two mammals that can't make their own vitamin C. Years ago, we had some goats on our ranch, and a goat under stress can make 100 grams of vitamin C a day. 100 grams. But as humans, we can't make 1/1,000,000th of a milligram. So when we're under stress, we definitely need more vitamin C. And I think that's one of the biggest contributing factors is the lack of vitamin C or toxins in our environment, and of course, heavy metals. So, cataracts can be prevented. In terms of reversing them, they can be reversed, with homeopathy, microcurrent, and changes in nutrition. And we have some specialized eye drops for it. But out of all the things that I treat, cataracts are probably the most difficult because you got to treat the underlying problem.
Thank you. What your opinion on laser therapy for glaucoma?
Well, laser therapy is one of the treatment modalities for glaucoma. You want to avoid, first of all, you want to avoid drugs and laser. But sometimes it's necessary. I mean, glaucoma is a very, very serious disease, and you have to be very careful when you're doing any type of alternative treatment. Glaucoma is one of the few diseases can lead to total blindness. I'm talking about midnight in a coal mine blindness. Macular degeneration, you may lose your central vision, but you always have peripheral vision. I mean, glaucoma. So my big beef with traditional ophthalmologists, all they're doing is treating the pressure. They're not treating the nerve. So there's like an equation. There's the health of the optic nerve and the pressure. As the pressure goes up, it cuts off the circulation to the nerve. So my approach is, what can we do to make the nerve healthy? Diet, nutrition, exercise. Studies have shown that exercise, meditation can lower the pressure. So sometimes it takes a combination not only of using the eye drops and laser, but adjusting the root cause, doing things to improve the health of the optic nerve.
All right, this one, we probably get this question every single phone call. What helps with floaters? So many people have floaters. I know it's not AMD, but they're asking.
Well, floaters are a problem, but it's a warning sign of your body.
Oh.
Like when the red ignition light goes on in your car, you're getting floaters. I think one of the biggest reasons for floaters is toxins in your body. You got to detox. Now, there are some floaters that unfortunately happen with age. As we get older, the jelly inside our eye begins to shrink. And you reach a certain age, that jelly will break away. And some people will see the back of that jelly floating, and it can be very, very disturbing. But from the homeopathic perspective, if the floaters are annoying you, I always want to find out from the person what is annoying you in your life. The microcosm manifests the macrocosm. So people that are really annoyed by the floaters, typically there's something really annoying in their life. So you treat, and that's why I like homeopathy, because homeopathy, we treat the emotional aspect. But I think, detoxifying your body, proper hydration, things like that. Light therapy can help. Microcurrent can help to reduce it. So all these things can help.
Last one on from YouTube, can a macular hole be healed?
It depends. There's different grades of a macular hole. And initially what we need to do is to find out what caused the macular hole. There's different reasons for that. We want to treat the cause. But I have treated many cases of a macular hole. Some people respond very well to treatment. Others, they get some slight improvement, but I think anybody with a macular hole can benefit. Unfortunately, the traditional treatment for a macular hole is really invasive. I mean, they go in and they operate, they take out all the jelly in the eye, and they do a membrane peeling, and you have to lay flat on your stomach for a week, and then invariably you'll get a cataract after it. So, there is a surgical treatment that works in some cases, but it's really dramatic and it causes complications down the road.
Okay. And then lastly, this one's from me. Can you give the name of the missionary group that you help restore people's vision in foreign countries?
Yeah. The vision group
nonprofit.
is called sight.org.
Sight.org.
And if you go to sight.org/Kondrot, my last name, it'll take you to a page. I mean, we're open for donations to help us in the cause. I mean, I don't make any money when I do my mission work. We're self-funded. We get money from charity, and I love the mission work, but it is very expensive. Fortunately, there's a lot of manufacturers that donate a lot of equipment. When my wife and I travel, sometimes we'll take maybe close to $100,000 worth of eye equipment with us for these missions. But, we have to pay for our own airfare, accommodations, and all those things, plus, time being lost. So you can go to sight.org. Also, you can go to my YouTube channel, KondrotYouTube.com, Kondrot YouTube, and we have a lot of videos from our mission. And also, we're always looking for volunteers. Anybody can volunteer to go on a mission. You don't have to be a medical doctor or a specialist. We need people to help. In fact, sometimes somebody will just hold the hand of the patient and pray while they're getting surgery because they're scared. I mean, I can't speak the language. They don't understand me. And imagine blind going into a room and some foreign doctors there to try to help you, and they're very scared and nervous. So there's a lot of ways to support us in the mission.
Yeah, I invite people to go and check those websites out. I was looking at them and I started crying. I was really touched. I mean, it was dramatic what you're doing to help people. I really truly admire the work you and Lee do. Okay,
but there's a lot of people here in the U.S. that need help, and my heart goes out to any of you that are on this webinar right now, and you're suffering from an eye problem and no one's giving you an answer. That is, you need help. You have to be told that there is hope, there is something that can be done.
All right, everyone. Dr. Kondrot, thank you so much for joining us today. It's just been the absolute most informative, wonderful conversation, and I appreciate your insights, your wisdom, and that you just keep on doing what you're doing and keep shining year after year after year. It's really truly admirable. And Coming up on Clear Vision Wednesday next week, we have ophthalmologist from the UK, Radka Toms, and that's going to be the last one in our AMD series for macular degeneration, help holistically. Dr. Kondrot, what a pleasure.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
hey,
And
Tricia, are you going to the Syntonics meeting in May?
where's it at?
St. Pete's Beach.
Oh my gosh, it's here. Okay. Well, it's so funny. I didn't know where it was. And the last time I talked to
Yeah.
Ray,
And I'm going to be speaking on homeopathy
okay, I'm
at
gonna
the
go.
meeting.
I promised.
Homeopathy and microcurrent. So it'll be great to see you there. And maybe
Yeah.
give the link, because anyone could attend the meeting. Maybe some of the people that are on this webinar
Yeah,
might want to
people
go.
listening. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. I had the best time at that meeting. Okay, cool. I'll
Yeah.
probably end up helping. I promised Ray I would help if he had it here, and he didn't let me know
Uh-huh.
yet. But okay, last time we talked, he was like, we weren't sure we were going to have it. I will be there. I'll be there. Thank you for mentioning it,
Great.
though. So much fun. All right, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Kondrot. Stay on the call. We're
Oh,
going to
thank you.
meeting on the other thing in just a minute with our private group, and I appreciate everybody for joining us.